So I got a question. Would would you say that whether or not you are using specific movements from Tai Chi forms in the fight, for example, if whether or not Zhang Weili is using Tai Chi specific movements in her fight, like if she's doing this one or whatever it is, right? Would you say you're using Tai Chi principles more so than techniques?
Yes. So techniques we can use because we're fighting MMA. We can use any
Right.
technique that's most suitable for that given situation. However, the underlying force, what is driving her body, that is Tai Chi's silk reeling strength. When I realized the moment how profound this gripping foot is, what is the silk reeling strength that people mentioned before? What is really the relationship to fascia? I have to give all the credit to the founders of Tai Chi, Zhang Sanfeng, who originated. I don't know if you know. There's legend of him that he was a supernatural being. I don't know how true that is. Like nobody knows for sure. But I have to give all the credit to the people in the Asian past because they were able to, in a way, tell me a big hint about human performance. I have never thought it was possible. And
Yeah.
yes, yes, sure, because when your whole body is connected fully by fascia, not only you are going to be powerful performance-wise, you're going to be very resistant to injury. Just like you said, when someone punches the stack of bricks with bones, is it really the bone hitting the actual concrete, or is it the entire fascial system in water molecules impacting that?
Yeah. No, this is really cool when I think about it because the goal of all martial arts and theories is to win fights, right? Be able to win the fight, and a lot of traditional martial artists get stuck in the dogma of tradition, where tradition becomes more important than practical applications that allow you to win the fight. And so a lot of people might look at what you do and say, "Oh, well, that's not Tai Chi because you're not using this move and whatever." But
Right.
what you're doing, I think, is so much better because you're focusing on how do we win the fight, which I think is what those old masters were probably doing anyway. They're not thinking I must stick to this rigid structure. They're thinking how do I beat this guy who's trying to kill me, right?
Yes.
And when I sparred with Wu Dao Shui, he was the master of Tai Chi I met in Jiangsu province. He shocked me because it didn't look like the forms. Because I punched at him, I threw some punches at him, and he's slipping, like a boxer. He's kind of bobbing and weaving. I'm like, look, that shocked me because it didn't look like the forms. And
Yes.
yeah, when he laid hands on me, when he starts grabbing and grappling and pummeling and doing these wrestling type of moves, it shocked me because again, that didn't look like the forms. Now he was able to translate some of these moves and show me, okay, this does come from the forms, but a lot of it was simply improvisation based on fight IQ, spatial awareness, all these other principles any good fighter should have, right?
Right.
So again, I absolutely congratulate you for essentially bringing Tai Chi to the modern world. People are always asking me like, "Hey Ramsey, I come from a traditional martial arts background. How how do I make my traditional martial art not suck? How do I make it more relevant? How do I modernize it?" I get this a lot from Wing Chun guys, for example. How do we fix Wing Chun?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the answer is very similar to what you're doing. It's just step outside of the rigid structure, focus more on the principles than the actual technique, and use those principles to answer the question: how do we best go about trying to win this fight? Now
Pretty much.
you mentioned an increase in punching power that Zhang Weili had, and you mentioned some numbers. I don't remember what they were, but they were really impressive. Like, but before she started working with you, like what type of um, how were you measuring the punches? Was it like pounds per square inch, psi, or
Right.
So like,
So the device that we use is called the Aqua Force Bag. You can go to their website to see how they measure
right,
these forces. But the number that we got was we started with 300 around 325 initially 350, and towards the end where when we were able to fully use the glutes from the feet to the glutes to the hand, she was able to hit north of 500. So that's
okay,
almost, you know, doubling her initial output. So when I watch her fight Joanna at later rounds, those are 500-pound punches to her forehead.
yeah,
I don't think under normal circumstance that if she I think if she really if Joanna was not being careful and putting her chin down, a direct punch to her nose or to her mouth, it would easily rock her. And there were a number of moments that Zhang Weili has already rocked her, and she was backing up due to the fact that she was rocked. But Zhang Weili wasn't aggressive enough to finish it. So this happened actually I think around the third round and the fourth round. There was a few exchanges. You can see all Joanna did was after getting hit, she was just backing up, backing up, backing up, backing up. She wasn't like, oh yeah, you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back right away. She wasn't doing that. So those moments, I know Zhang Weili after the interview, she said uh, she saw Joanna's eyes. Her eyes were not looking straight. Her eyes was looking sideways. So
I've seen that
she
look
was
before.
she was dazed. But it's just that you know she wasn't able to grab the opportunity and finish her off. You know, for example, at that moment you should probably go up, do a tackling move or some type of shouldering move like a regular what Tai Chi do. Just use the shoulder, you know, body to body and knock her unbalanced, you know, that would produce a much quicker and better result for that type of fight. But I think in our future fights, you're going to see more a better, you know, performance from her.